As a seasoned detective with years of experience under my belt, I've encountered my fair share of heinous crimes. But there's one case that still haunts me to this day, a case that was as dark and mysterious as they come. It was a chilly winter evening when the call came in. A young woman had gone missing from her apartment in a quiet suburb on the outskirts of the city. I immediately sprung into action, assembling a team of skilled investigators to unravel the mystery. The victim was identified as Emily Davis, a 26-year-old aspiring artist with a bright future ahead of her. Her apartment showed no signs of forced entry, and her belongings were untouched. But there was something eerie about the scene, an unsettling air of emptiness that sent a shiver down my spine. As we delved deeper into Emily's life, we discovered that she had been struggling with depression and had a history of self-harm. She was known to frequent online forums and chat rooms, seeking solace in virtual communities. Our investigation led us to a particular forum where Emily had been an active member, sharing her artwork and thoughts on life. One user on the forum caught our attention, a mysterious individual who went by the handle Midnight. Midnight had been interacting with Emily frequently in the days leading up to her disappearance, and their conversations had taken a dark turn. They seemed to have formed a bond based on their shared struggles with mental health, and it appeared that Emily had confided in Midnight about her innermost thoughts and fears. We traced Midnight's IP address to a secluded cabin deep in the woods. When we arrived, we found the cabin abandoned, but what we discovered inside was bone-chilling. The walls were adorned with Emily's artwork, her portrait staring back at us with haunting eyes. It was clear that Midnight had been fixated on Emily and had been stalking her for some time. Further investigation revealed that Midnight was actually a middle-aged man named Jacob, who had a history of mental illness and had been institutionalized in the past. He had become obsessed with Emily after stumbling upon her artwork online, and had concocted a twisted plan to make her his muse forever. Jacob had lured Emily to the cabin on the pretext of collaborating on an art project. But when Emily arrived, he had drugged her and held her captive, using her as his muse while keeping her unconscious for days. When Emily eventually regained consciousness, she had tried to escape, but Jacob had panicked and accidentally killed her in a fit of rage. The impact of Emily's murder on her family was devastating. Her parents were heartbroken, struggling to come to terms with the fact that their beloved daughter's life had been cut short by a deranged stranger. Emily's artwork, which had once brought her joy and solace, had now become a painful reminder of the tragedy that had befallen her. The lessons we learned from this case were stark. It was a stark reminder of the dangers of online communities and the need for caution when sharing personal information online. It also highlighted the importance of mental health awareness and the need for proper support and treatment for those struggling with mental illness. It was a somber reminder that evil could lurk in the most unexpected places, and that as detectives, we must always be vigilant in our pursuit of justice. As for Jacob, he was eventually apprehended and charged with murder. He was deemed mentally unfit to stand trial and was committed to a psychiatric institution. It was a tragic end to a twisted tale, and a chilling reminder that the human mind can be a dark and mysterious place. The case of Emily Davis and the enigmatic Midnight will forever be etched in my memory as a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly. It was a foggy autumn night when I received a call about a murder at an abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the city. The mansion was notorious for its dark history, with rumors of past tragedies and criminal activities that had earned it the nickname, the Haunted Manor. As I arrived at the scene, I could feel the weight of the mystery hanging in the air. Inside the mansion, I found the lifeless body of a young woman, identified as Samantha Chen, a 30-year-old journalist who had been investigating the mansion's history for an article. The murder scene was brutal, with symbols drawn in blood on the walls, indicating a possible motive related to occultism or a sinister cult. As we delved into Samantha's life, we discovered that she had been a determined reporter known for her relentless pursuit of the truth, even when it led her into dangerous territory. She had become fixated on the history of the mansion, unearthing secrets that had remained hidden for years. Our investigation led us to a mysterious group known as the Damned, who were rumored to have been involved in illegal activities in the past. We found evidence that Samantha had been in contact with one of the members of the group, a man named Elijah, who who had been providing her with information about the mansion's history. However, as we dug deeper, we realized that the group's motives were far more sinister than we had initially suspected. They were involved in various criminal activities, including drug trafficking and extortion, and Samantha's investigations had threatened to expose their operations to the authorities. As we closed in on the group, we found ourselves facing obstacles and resistance at every turn. They were determined to protect their illicit activities and would go to great lengths to keep their secrets hidden. We encountered threats, intimidation, and even attempts to bribe or silence potential witnesses. In a breakthrough moment, we managed to track down Elijah, the leader of the group, to a hideout. He was a charismatic and manipulative figure, using his charm to sway others to his will. But as we confronted him with the evidence against him, he resorted to desperate measures to escape, resulting in a tense chase through the mansion's dark corridors. After a dramatic pursuit, we finally apprehended Elijah, who confessed to ordering Samantha's murder. He revealed that Samantha's investigations had posed a threat to the group's criminal operations, and he had ordered her silence to protect their interests. The symbols drawn in blood at the murder scene were meant to throw off the investigation and create confusion. The impact of Samantha's murder on her family and loved ones was devastating. Her parents were heartbroken, struggling to come to terms with the senseless loss of their beloved daughter. Her colleagues mourned the loss of a talented journalist who had been dedicated to uncovering the truth. The lessons we learned from this case were sobering. It highlighted the dangers of criminal organizations and the lengths they would go to protect their operations. It also underscored the importance of investigative journalism and the need to shine a light on corruption and crime, even when faced with threats and obstacles. The case of Samantha Chen and The Damned served as a stark reminder of the dark and ruthless realities that can lurk beneath the surface, and the importance of seeking justice for the victims and holding criminals accountable in our society. It was a quiet suburban neighborhood, where families lived in peace and felt safe. But that all changed when a series of unsettling events unfolded. It started with mysterious notes left on doorsteps, addressed to different residents, with cryptic messages that seemed to know their deepest secrets. Then, it escalated to strange phone calls in the middle of the night, with a disguised voice whispering threats and taunts. As a seasoned detective, I was assigned to the case, and it quickly became apparent that we were dealing with a cunning and elusive stalker who was terrorizing the community. The messages and calls were carefully crafted to reveal intimate details about the residents' lives, and the victims were left feeling vulnerable and paranoid. We delved into the lives of the victims, trying to identify any potential motives or connections among them. As we interviewed each one, we uncovered a web of secrets and hidden conflicts, ranging from past disputes to financial troubles to strained relationships. Each victim had something to hide, but we couldn't pinpoint a specific suspect. The stalker seemed to always be one step ahead, leaving minimal traces behind. We scoured the neighborhood for clues, analyzed the notes and calls for any patterns or clues, and even set up surveillance, but the stalker remained elusive, striking at random and disappearing without a trace. As the tension in the community grew, so did the fear and paranoia. Residents were constantly on edge, afraid to answer their phones or open their doors. Some even considered moving away, but the stalker seemed to know their every move, making escape impossible. The case took a personal toll on the victims and their families. They lived in constant fear, with their lives disrupted by the relentless harassment. Relationships strained, sleep was elusive, and anxiety levels soared. The community was gripped by a palpable sense of fear and mistrust. With the pressure mounting, we intensified our efforts, working tirelessly to uncover the identity of the stalker. We analyzed phone records, conducted extensive background checks, and sought help from forensic experts, but the case seemed to defy our efforts at every turn. Then, a breakthrough came when we discovered that one of the victims, a man named Mark, had a dark secret from his past that he had been desperately trying to conceal. Through painstaking investigation, we unraveled the truth. Mark had been involved in a criminal scheme years ago that had resulted in the death of an accomplice, and the stalker was someone who had been seeking revenge for the betrayal. Armed with this new information, we narrowed down our suspects and finally apprehended the stalker, who turned out to be the deceased accomplice's brother seeking justice for his sibling. He had carefully planned and executed the stalking campaign to torment Mark and make him feel the same fear and anguish that his brother had experienced before his death. In the end, the stalker was brought to justice, and the neighborhood breathed a collective sigh of relief. However, the scars left by the stalking campaign would take time to heal. The case taught us valuable lessons about the destructive power of stalking and the importance of uncovering the truth in complex cases. It also highlighted the need for communities to come together and support victims of such crimes, as the impact can be long-lasting and far-reaching. Thanks for watching, and be sure to give the video a like and leave a comment on your thoughts of the story. Also, let us know what kind of story you would like to hear next, or if you have a story you would like to share. We would love to hear from you, so please leave us a comment or email us.